Introducing SUPPRESSAL, Aerosol Fire Protection, a fire suppression tool for firefighters, first responders, and industrial use. The Suppressalis FS2 is used by firefighters, police, armed forces, and first responders as a highly effective suppression tool against early-stage and fully developed fires. The Suppressalis FS2 is deployed manually by pulling a set of pins which will trigger an electronic ignition system. After triggering the Suppressalis FS2, an aerosol mist is generated, which expands volumetrically, flooding the space and suppressing the flames within seconds. The aerosol will also remove up to 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit from the structure in 60 seconds or less. The Suppressalis FS2 is designed for use on Class A, B, and C fires in an enclosure up to 5,300 cubic feet in volume. Suppressalis FS2 benefits: does not remove oxygen, does not utilize supercooling gases, is non-toxic, is non-conductive and non-corrosive, is not harmful to people or animals, is not harmful to the atmosphere, has zero ozone depletion potential, also has zero global warming potential, and does not increase pressure. Here are some other benefits of the Suppressalis FS2. It saves lives and property. Its correct use can save up to 80% in water usage. There is a drastic reduction in the emission of environmental pollutants due to burning, which helps eradicate carcinogens that are emitted. The FS2 can preserve the integrity of any structure involved in an early-stage fire and preserve the fire scene for arson investigations. It can reduce insurance claims by up to 75% from fire. It has a 15-year shelf life and is fully warranted. When to use the Suppressalis FS2. The Suppressalis FS2 can be used on the following classes of fire: Class A, B, or C. When natural or mechanical venting has not been initiated. It can be used for an external deployment or an internal deployment by a trained firefighter. Use the FS2 to eliminate flashover. Flashover is described as the near-simultaneous ignition of material caused by heat reaching the auto-ignition temperature of the combustible material and gases in the enclosure. The deployment of a Suppressalis FS2 generator within an enclosure effectively knocks down temperature, and within seconds, flashover is averted. When not to use the Suppressalis FS2. This structure shown is too far gone for the FS2 to help. The fire shown in this picture is beyond the capabilities of a single FS2 to fully suppress. You will notice most of the roof, windows, and doors are gone. This structure is fully engaged on all levels. When not to use the Suppressalis FS2. Prior to each possible deployment of a Suppressalis FS2, the person deploying the unit must do the following. Inspect the unit to make sure it is not damaged. If it shows damage, do not deploy it. The Suppressalis FS2 is equipped with two types of metal pins and an LED light. In Picture 1, the R pin was added to secure the igniter pin in place. In Picture 2, when the decision to deploy the Suppressalis FS2 has been made and you are in position, firmly grasp the R pin, labeled number 1, and pull it straight out of the unit. Removing the R pin, labeled number 1, unlocks the igniter pin, labeled number 2, so it can be used to deploy the FS2. Picture 3. After removing the R pin, labeled number 1, firmly grasp the igniter pin labeled number 2 and pull it straight out of the unit. Once the igniter pin has been removed, immediately deploy the unit. The unit will start the 8 seconds countdown, and this cannot be stopped once initiated unless the battery is removed before the countdown terminates. Picture 4. An LED light is embedded in the handle. This LED light will turn on and glow red only after the igniter pin is pulled out of the unit and the ignition process is initiated. The glowing LED indicates the unit is now live and will deploy its aerosol within 8 seconds. Note: pulling the pins in the incorrect order will cause the Suppressalis FS2 to fail and not deploy. Pulling the pins in the incorrect order will void your warranty. Points to remember: aerosol created by any manufacturer's mobile handheld suppression device will momentarily move the thermal layer toward the floor. The Suppressalis FS2's aerosol will knock down temperatures quickly and eliminate flames so rescue can be effected expediently. This deployment method would remain a judgment call in situations where a victim is trapped or unreachable. Need to know: use of a thermal imaging camera. The Suppressalis FS2 creates a white cloud of aerosol throughout the fire room. The use of a thermal imaging camera after deployment is recommended. A thermal imaging camera will show you how safe the environment has become, including any thermal signatures which point to trapped victims, hotspots, or flare-ups. Important: safe distance deployments. The Suppressalis FS2 should always be deployed a minimum of 3 feet from any person or occupant. The aerosol being deployed is hot, and safe measures should always be taken during every deployment. First responders upon arrival should immediately evaluate the fire and decide if the Suppressalis FS2 is the correct tool that is needed for this fire. This early stage is the time where the Suppressalis FS2 can be most helpful in stopping the spread of the fire. Deciding to use the Suppressalis FS2. Now that you have decided to deploy the Suppressalis FS2 unit, move directly to the point of deployment. Once in position, first pull the R pin completely out of the Suppressalis FS2. Once the R pin is removed, firmly grasp the igniter pin, labeled number 2, and pull it out of the Suppressalis FS2. The LED light will turn on and glow red. You must now immediately throw the unit into the fire. The unit will fully deploy its aerosol within 35 seconds after the 8 seconds countdown terminates. Important points to remember: once the igniter pin has been pulled from the Suppressalis FS2, you have 8 seconds until ignition. Once the igniter pin is removed from the unit, there is no way to stop the ignition process unless you remove the battery before the 8-second countdown concludes. You must immediately deploy the unit. Do not hold the unit. Throw the unit into the fire. Deploying the Suppressalis FS2. After throwing the Suppressalis FS2 into the fire, contain the aerosol by maintaining a closed fire room. Do not ventilate or use water for at least 3 to 4 minutes. This is the time the aerosol needs to expand volumetrically and do its job. You will notice the smoke from the fire turn from black to white, indicating the Suppressalis FS2 is working. After allowing the needed time to work, enter the structure and overhaul as usual. Look for hotspots and extinguish them with water or foam. Benefits of using the Suppressalis FS2. Safety on the fire ground for the first responder. A Suppressalis FS2 can fight a fire without putting anyone in danger. The first in is not usually an engine crew. A Suppressalis FS2 can give you the needed time until an engine crew arrives on scene and is ready to fight the fire. The first on scene can deploy a Suppressalis FS2 without entering a structure and before other equipment has arrived. A Suppressalis FS2 can handle a structure fire involving multiple rooms. The Suppressalis FS2 buys time for every crew that utilizes it. Using the Suppressalis FS2 to drastically lower the temperature quickly. A Suppressalis FS2 can lower the temperature by as much as 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit in less than 60 seconds after deployment. Lowering the temperature makes an interior attack using conventional firefighting methods much safer for all firefighters. In the video, notice from the time the FS2 is deployed at well over 1,100 degrees Fahrenheit, it takes less than 1 minute to eliminate the flames, stop the flashover, and remove over 800 degrees Fahrenheit from the structure. Benefits of using the Suppressalis FS2 for hard-to-access areas. When strategically deployed, a Suppressalis FS2 can attack fire in areas that are difficult or impossible for crews to access. Attic, basement, and confined space fires can be suppressed with a Suppressalis FS2 so that conventional methods can be safely employed. Suppressing a fire inside a 40-foot container. The FS2 removes up to 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit in less than 60 seconds. Fort Hood Army Base, Texas.
We're about 9:30. Yep. I'm at 700 on the other side of the wall. 800, 850 at the fire. I'm reading 9 up here. All right, go ahead and do it if you want. All right, send it. Right there, safety right there. Hold up, Pen. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Everyone good?
Using the Suppressalis FS2 in confined spaces. Early deployment of a Suppressalis FS2 unit into an attic will eliminate hotspots and control fire that tries to escape to the roof. An attic is a closed compartment that has the ability to perfectly contain the aerosol. Suppressalis FS2 aerosol can remain buoyant in sealed conditions for up to an hour. Benefits of using the Suppressalis FS2 by the numbers. The Suppressalis FS2 helps maintain the integrity of the structure on fire. Using up to 80% less water has safety benefits to firefighters as well. 1. 1 gallon of water weighs 8.4 pounds. 2. With a flow of 400 gallons per minute, you can add 3,360 pounds of weight to the floor of a structure in 1 minute. 3. This weight, when added to an already weakened support system, is a game changer. 4. The possibility of collapse increases almost 2 tons every minute the hose is utilized. Today's building materials burn quicker and hotter than those used even 10 years ago. Correct use of the Suppressalis FS2 will help maintain the integrity of the structure and keep you safe. Benefits of using the Suppressalis FS2. When the temperature freezes everything else, the Suppressalis FS2 will work to minus 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Points to always remember. Avoid using water directly before a Suppressalis FS2 deployment. When the aerosol mixes with water vapor, it becomes heavy and will not fill the room volumetrically as needed. The aerosol and water mixture will not create a slippery walkway nor affect egress in any way. Ventilating the structure. Venting is a normal process to stop the spread of a fire and alleviate hot gases or smoke. Venting too soon after a deployment will alter the effectiveness of the Suppressalis FS2 aerosol. Normally, after a fire is knocked down, ventilation is started. When using a Suppressalis FS2, you do not want to ventilate right after deployment. Wait 3 to 4 minutes minimally after a Suppressalis FS2 has deployed before ventilating. Need to know. Exposure to the aerosol. The Suppressalis FS2 aerosol is non-toxic and non-hazardous. Treat exposure to the Suppressalis FS2 aerosol in the same manner as mild smoke inhalation. Taking care of your Suppressalis FS2 generator. Store your Suppressalis FS2 unit securely in a dry environment. Never leave your Suppressalis FS2 generator lying on the fireground prior to the unit's deployment. Treat your Suppressalis FS2 generator with care. Keep it clean and dry.